When does child support end in New Jersey?
In New Jersey, child support ends by statute at the age of 19. However, it is often extended. So typically, when a child is in the custody of both parents, there is a presumption that that child is entitled to support. And by law, they are entitled by statute and by case law. However, once a child leaves the sphere of influence of the parents, that's the legal standard for what we refer to as emancipation, a child is no longer entitled to child support. When we have a gray area is when children graduate from high school and go off to college or trade school, and thus still have a parent to whom they come home, typically during school breaks. That child is not legally determined to be emancipated. They're still considered to be under the care and control of their parents. And so in those circumstances, child support and the legal responsibility to pay it does continue while the child is in school. Now, that is only up until the age of 23. So if your child has taken longer to get through school, or maybe let's say they took a year or two off before they actually went to college, you still have to ensure that your child is going to school full time in order to be entitled to receive child support after the age of 23. Normally, what we advise parents to do is actually specify this in their matrimonial settlement agreement. So if you are divorcing the parent of your child, you would want to lay out either the expectation that they are going to go to school and that child support would continue, or you want to address the fact that you don't anticipate that they will be going to college. If life circumstances change, however, either parent may petition the court and ask for an order of child support. What does happen, and is very common, is that if a child is in school and the parents are contributing toward the child's economic expenses in school, either college expenses or even their living expenses while away at school, child support payable to the previous custodial parent is going to be reduced. And that takes into account the fact that the child has fewer needs while they are coming back and forth from college back into their primary home, but they still do need a home to come back to. So the housing expense portion of child support continues, but things like laundry and food in the home and transportation expenses, those things oftentimes will follow the child and thus are taken care of in the allotment of expenses that are paid for college contribution. So there are interrelated expenses, but they are not the same, and oftentimes child support does get modified when children get older and thus go away to school.